Okay, the current administration in the United States of America is literally comprised of sex offenders, abusers, and then almost all of them are complete outliers, just like these guys that you see in the Facebook comment section that come up with some bullshit theory and then they think it's a great theory and all these other misfits pile on. We literally have an administration that is commensurate with the Facebook comment section. Listen to RFK Jr. here. This was on video. He says this, he believes this. Speak about autism.
This is an individual tragedy as well. Autism destroys families. More importantly, it destroys our greatest resource, which are our children. These are children who should not be suffering like this. These are kids who, many of them were fully functional and regressed because of some environmental exposure into autism when they're 2 years old. And these are kids who will never pay taxes. They'll never hold a job. They'll never play baseball. They'll never write a poem. They'll never go out on a date. Many of them will never use a toilet unassisted. And we have to recognize.
Okay. Clearly, the only autistic person he's ever been around is Elon Musk.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay, this is so offensive. I know many people that are on the spectrum, and they live full, fruitful lives. This is so insane. And the problem with RFK Jr. and the problem with everybody in the Trump administration is they are complete outliers, people that have this harebrained theory and they put it in basically some sort of forum like a Facebook, and then people who want to intellectually buck the system, people who have an inherent default setting not to believe facts, scientific consensus, and they've all kind of banded together. This is so insulting. He makes it sound like he's talking about heroin addicts.
Right.
You know, like that heroin is so damaging, but he's talking about something that I know many people, I have many friends whose children are on the spectrum, and what he describes is not the life that they live. The only person I know where he talks about not paying taxes, playing baseball, or writing poetry would be Elon Musk.
That was exactly my thought, because Elon Musk, autism is an excuse for him to do Sig Heils and everybody's hunky-dory with that. But what drives me crazy about RFK Jr. is he's gone out on the biggest conspiracy, and he is not a scientist, and he has turned our healthcare system into a confirmation bias where he wants to go anti-science, anti-expertise, and feed this to people. And while he's worried about autism and insulting people with autism, he's allowing people with measles, I mean, he's encouraging them not to get a vaccine, and people are dying. Like, he is the biggest dipshit in history. It's shocking to me this is going on.
You know what I think happens with a lot of very wealthy people, particularly men? They win at capitalism, and this guy is a Nepo baby. He inherited a bunch of money. And so look at like Elon Musk, Bezos, him, Peter Thiel, and others. And then they sit around and their brains need to be stimulated. They've already won all the money. They've got all the zeros behind a big number in their bank account. And then they start just coming up with shit that's outside of their purview. Right. They start thinking, okay, I'm going to be an autism expert, or I'm going to be a vaccine expert. In Peter Thiel's case, he's going to be a, how to form a great country expert. None of these people have any experience in it, but they get bored and then they start fucking shit up. You know, Jeff Bezos has no business building rockets. I mean, look at, comparatively speaking, what his ex-wife is doing, right, compared to what he is doing. And it's just these uber wealthy men just always end up screwing things up, at least the ones that are outspoken. All right, next up, we have one of my favorite subjects to browbeat, and it is MAGA Christian hypocrisy. Let's play this video of Karoline Leavitt.
Ever ends up back in the United States, he would immediately be deported again. Nothing will change the fact that Abrego Garcia will never be a Maryland father. He will never live in the United States of America again.
You know, this is just, This is so abhorrent. And I want to call on all Christians everywhere. I'm not one, but how are these people, have the cross, the image of your faith, and they have ascended to the government and they do all of this stuff with impunity? And all of the Christians that voted for this and watched that, the dehumanization of him, saying he's never going to be a Maryland father. I mean, who the fuck does this bitch think she is? And she does it with feeling like she's religiously enlightened, or is it they know the most easily brainwashed people are the hellfire damnation Christians that like to serve up cruelty, feast on it, and have it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. One of the two, both equally as evil.
Well, I think it's the cruelty, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I think that the entitlement that you learn in Christianity and you're indoctrinated with gives you what you think is the authority to judge other people. And Karoline Leavitt is absolutely a despicable human being. And every Christian should be getting their house in order and rising up against this administration, because it's polar opposite of what the Bible says. Allegedly.
Not all of the Bible.
No, but I mean
there's a lot of hellfire damnation that
for sure.
But like, all I'm saying.
The Archbishop at Trump's inauguration,
yes.
Be what she says. If you want to be a good Christian, think about what she says, because the rest of you are, no wonder non-religious is the fastest growing religion in this country.
Okay. And then next up, so they keep using Trump administration. They're like, if somebody has a tattoo, then they need to be deported illegally without due process and sent to a concentration camp. And they say this while they're wearing their crosses. And so by their logic, I want to put up this image. Here is Pete Hegseth with a white supremacy gang member ship him to El Salvador prison, as this has been going viral. So he has this white supremacist tattoo stuff. So by their logic, people like Pete Hegseth could be shipped off to concentration camps. And listen to me, as much as I despise Trump, despise Vance, Bondi, Leavitt, Hegseth, all of the other, misfits, the just potpourri of just horrible people, deplorables, all the shit. I don't want them sent to concentration camps. I don't want that. That is not a part of a society in which I want to live. But they sit on Fox News and claim that if somebody has a tattoo, they should be deported. Meanwhile, Pete Hegseth is, just a total woman beater alcoholic with all these white supremacist tattoos. And that's their hero. And he, puts the entire U.S. military at risk. And these are the same people that are rah-rah, sis, boom, bah, support the troops. How is this supporting the troops when many of the troops are not white? Well, I was just going to say the difference between Pete Hegseth and the other people that they're talking about with gang tattoos is he is a white male, and that entitles you to every privilege in this administration. Okay, and here we have a video of Trump, and of course, we always chipmunk his voice because it's just so grating to hear. Here he is complaining about Biden giving pardons to some of the people on the January 6th committee.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So we can't even go after them because they were pardoned.
Right.
No, we're dealing with very corrupt people. We have a lot of corrupt people in our government.
I mean, you're the corruption. Right. You're the fucking criminal. And I mean, they want to talk about 4D chess and 5D chess. It looks like Biden played it on you, Sleepy Joe. I mean, now that you can't charge these people that went after you. Okay. And then the next headline we have, ICE is going just full Gestapo. This is so alarming. ICE agents realize they arrested wrong teen, and then they say, take him anyway. And this is where I want to call on all of the people that are triple Trumpers that claim to be Christians. Explain to me, like I'm a 2-year-old, how if Jesus Christ is your Lord and personal Savior, and he would stand with the most marginalized over the richest people and actually spoke out against the accumulation of wealth. Explain to me, like I'm 2-3 years old, how you support this administration. It is the biggest shortcoming, and there's the biggest problem that national politics miss is this contagion and this cancer of this Christian nationalism, these entitled white people that go to these mega churches and send their kids to these indoctrination, Trump dump private schools, pay extra money to make sure they're racist, pay extra money to make sure they're homophobic. And these are the people that triple Trump dump on America. 3 times they did it. The majority of them Christians.
Well, and they would all say that they are for human rights and all the things.
Do they say that?
Well, wouldn't you think they all want to come off as we help the poor, we donated to causes? I think in their minds they do. I think in their minds they think they're above what everybody else, that poor people are less than, brown people less than, women less than, because there is no document that's more patriarchal than the Bible. So I think these people, until the politics catches up with the indoctrination, I mean, it is no wonder. It's like over 95% of evangelical Christians vote with Trump. What's the through line? Cruelty, entitlement, and judgmentalness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, I think that it's not that the politics need to catch up with the religion. It's that the politics have ignored it. And
That's
we're
probably
playing
better.
2 different games here. They're going into institutions that promote critical thinking, that promote conflicting ideas, freedom of expression, freedom of speech. They're going to start taxing them. For decades, the Democratic Party has completely ignored the very well-organized, very well-funded Christian nationalist movement. And it's their little schools that pop up everywhere that teach this. Pledge of Allegiance every day, overt racism, overt homophobia, and then all of these mega churches have been able to have political agendas with impunity. And so I think the bigger danger is that it was ignored. And look at the 2 different games we play. They get in power and they're like, we're going to start taxing Harvard.
Right.
We're going to shut all this shit down. The Democrats don't do that. They don't do it, and it really pisses me off. Okay, and then lastly here, we have short-sighted MAGA Republican economics. So while Trump is playing 4D and 5D chess, and everybody thinks that's real, listen to this tweet. I think this is a very important tweet. This is from Sean Ryan, and he says, China is not buying American oil, but buying Canadian oil. China is not buying American soybeans, but buying Brazilian soybeans. China is not buying American Boeings, but buying France's Airbuses. China is not buying American beef, but buying Australian. China has decided basically not to buy anything from America, and aside from semiconductors, can easily replace American-made products. America, on the other hand, had to exempt iPhones and computers from tariffs to still get America to buy antibiotics and rare earth anywhere else. Things are not going the way Trump wants. Bessent, Navarro, Lutnick should be fired. Can there be a more arrogant yet unsophisticated triumvirate in American economic history? And this is the 5D chess of dipshits. Right. This is what happens. China is eviscerating smoky-eyed J.D. Vance, just completely making fun of him online. Putin is making sure Russian TV is humiliating Trump. But recently, a report came out yesterday. He was talking about how great he thought Elon Musk was. So everybody in this White House is getting played, and Republicans and Christian nationalists have abdicated all of their power. And women that look like us and men that look like us thought, we're going to vote for our pocketbook. We're going to sell human rights and our gay kids and our black and brown neighbors straight down the river because we're fiscally conservative. Well, look at what your fiscal conservatism game. Superpower China, welcome to the world. America is completely face planted because the American public is so goddamn stupid. All right, we're trying to get to 1 million subs. We'll see you all later.